Since the dawn of fandom, battles amongst fans have been commonplace, whether it be your Kirk vs. Picard or Indy vs. Han. The difference now is it isn't as simple as one fan saying they prefer Han Solo and another fan saying they prefer Indiana Jones, exchanging reasons, and then moving on to talking about what new comic book film is on the horizon. Nowadays, there are battle lines being drawn by fans, and the most notorious of these lines, to me, falls under fandom gatekeeping. Okay, so what is gatekeeping exactly? Well, to me, it can be summed up in the overused phrase of true fan. This notion is something that hasn't always existed in fandom discussions. In 1987, no one would have said you aren't a true fan of Star Trek if you weren't watching The Next Generation. If you only preferred the original series, most people didn't bat an eye, and the few who did were usually shrugged off as taking things way too seriously. But in the last couple of years, most notably on Twitter, it is more common to find people ready to fight if your opinion on a fandom doesn't line up 100% with theirs. No one really cared in 1996 if you played Shadows of the Empire or not. It didn't make you any less of a Star Wars fan. But now, if you say you aren't a fan of a particular film or TV show, people claim you aren't a real fan at all. Although gatekeeping can be found in most fandoms, Star Wars, since 2015, is where you find it the most. I say since 2015, since before that the most notable battle was whether or not you liked the prequels. But even the fans who hated those movies, they for the most part didn't stoop down to calling fans of the trilogy not true fans. But now in the Disney era, it's almost expected to find this argument when talking about Star Wars. Now, for the main part of my examination, I'm going to be using the film The Last Jedi. Both camps of this film like to play victim. You have fans of the movie that get upset at any critique of the film, no matter how minor, and are quick to point out faults in other Star Wars films. On the flip side of this coin, you have fans that don't like this film, who play victim anytime someone goes all out praising the movie. The issue is both come back to the same argument, that of being a true fan of Star Wars. If you liked the movie, you clearly never understood Star Wars. And if you didn't like the movie, you were just a child who isn't open to your expectations being subverted. Both sides are quick to claim you are not a true fan and use every bit of George Lucas footage to support their claims. Who is right in this debate? No one. This is a discussion about a part of fandom, but somehow, unlike Kirk vs. Picard, your credibility of being a Star Wars fan is being put at risk. Many fans aren't even willing to discuss Star Wars on a public forum out of fear of being ridiculed. As a big prequel supporter since I was a kid, I know the so-called harshness of Star Wars fans. I can't tell you how many times I've dealt with some fans who thought just repacking the Plinkett reviews as their own arguments would change my mind. They'd be shocked when I would point out that they stole those points, as if me being a prequel fan meant I never watched any videos about the films that had a negative viewpoint. If I broke ties with people over not liking the prequels, I'd have very few friends. Gatekeeping is a disease that is fast spreading through the Star Wars community. I'm not saying that just simply expressing your opinion on these movies, no matter what your viewpoint is, means you are gatekeeping. If you are actively refusing to listen to the other side, or just listen and attack one single point to debunk the whole argument a fellow fan has, then you are gatekeeping. You aren't Tom Cruise and A Few Good Men going up against Jack Nicholson.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
You're talking to other fans. You aren't always going to agree, and if that bothers you, then get off social media and find a nice cave to scream your opinions at, so you never have to deal with a different point of view.
All the company I need, right here. Hello!
Being a true fan of something just means being a fan. If that viewpoint really upsets you, before downvoting this video and telling me to F off in the comments, take a step back and remember the movies you say you are a fan of, and the lessons they tried to teach you. Anakin became the villain when he made things all about his point of view.
If you're not with me, then you're my enemy.
And it took hearing out his son to bring him back.
Here endeth the lesson.